I want to give a very special thank you to this lovely lady who has been a big supporter of mine for, I think, a good 2 years now. She is a hostess, an MLW announcer, a manager, a social media influencer, and a lover of music. Please welcome back the interview queen, Alicia Atout. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing really well. How are you doing over there? Thanks for having me back.
It's been a week, Alicia. I've been trying to keep myself busy, and I have this panel coming up this weekend at Comic Palooza. It's got me really nervous because I've never spoken in front of a crowd like that before.
Honestly, before you go through, I always do like a shake it all
right?
up, shake all the nervous, excited energy, any of the anxiety, and then just go out there and crush it. You know how to ask questions. You know how to converse. That's all this job is about. So you'll be fine. Don't sweat
it. Oh, man, I hope you're right. Thank you for that. That word of encouragement is giving me more excitement as we talk about it. So
absolutely.
I gotta give you your flowers before we get to this interview. Like, congratulations on a lot of things. 71,000 subscribers on YouTube, 86,000 followers on Twitter, and 102K followers on Instagram. Looking at where you've come from, I mean, it's been 2 years. I feel like you've gone through a personal transformation yourself. The way you carry yourself, you're glowing up a lot more. What do you feel like, from your perspective, is a change that you are most proud of about yourself?
Ooh. Just the confidence, being able to walk in a room and just own it, not worrying about what someone might think I'm wearing or look like or have to say. I just don't care anymore. And once you kind of realize other opinions, unless they're people that matter to you, opinions, they don't matter. As long as I'm happy, that's what matters. And it's so cheesy, but it's just been such an empowering last year. I've learned so much about myself. I'm doing projects now that just allow me to be free and kind of like channeling my inner hippie, which has just been so lovely. So yeah, it's just honestly learning the confidence, because then that affects your work, your personal life, your relationships. And ever since that realization of, hey, you're good, like you're loving what you're doing, everything's kind of working out, it's just it gives you a little boost. And since then everything's been really, really lovely.
And that leads into the next question. This comes from a fan. His name is Al Johnson from Brooklyn. He's been following you on social media too. And one thing he wants to know, how do you handle the trolls and the mean comments? We've seen you combat them on Twitter a lot. What's one technique you can give your fans about these trolls?
Well, honestly, one of the biggest changes, kind of going back to that first question, is the fact that now my man and I are running MLW and being able to show this other side of myself. I show it to a lot of people who deserve it. I mean, I'm not going to come on your show and be a dick because you haven't treated me a certain way, but anyone that crosses me, no, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to treat you with respect. So whenever I see a troll, I'll honestly just read their comment, think something in my mind, and type exactly what I think. I don't reply to every single one, because then all of us would be on our computers way too frequently throughout the day. But it does get to a point where you see so much bullshit and you just want to kind of give it back to them just a little bit. But honestly, what really I enjoy about it is now I just do it for fun. I don't read any comments anymore and I'm hurt by anything. It's nice having that little invincible layer around you now. So yeah, but otherwise, like, it's just fun for me. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's good. Treat people how you want to be treated and match their energy is always a good rule of thumb. With that said, you shocked the wrestling world, I think, a year ago in the ring when you quote unquote attacked Alex Hammerstone and joined up with Richard Holiday. Now, what is it like transitioning from being an interviewer to now being active inside the ring and being more of a presence on TV, especially with MLW?
It's where I wanted to be from the very beginning of walking through that door. I realized holding a microphone for so long and listening to other people's rambles and complaints and triumphs, I just got so sick of it. I don't really care. I was thinking to myself, all right, good for you, on to the next. Like, I was always just the same thing. And I was just so over that. And at the same time, I was watching my man, Richard Holiday, busting his ass every single match that he had and being overlooked. And he really was the backbone of the dynasty with Hammerstone and MJF. So once I started to realize the disrespect both of us were getting from peers and certain people within the company, we said no more. And we decided to not only shock the wrestling world, but make our presence completely known.
And it's kind of crazy. I saw your interview with Sean Ross Sapp. What a jerk. He gave you guys such a hard time.
I know. He's such an asshat. And we tell him every time, don't waste our time, Sean. Our time is valuable. Time is money. And he doesn't seem to comprehend any of that. So if you're watching, Sean, ask better questions.
Oh, he just gonna hate, right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Come on, we're the clout couple. What's not to love about us?
Gina Morgan TV, basically following up what you're saying. What is it like working with Richard Holiday both on and off screen?
It's amazing. Not only
Yeah.
is he a great in-ring performer, very charismatic, great on the microphone, the fact that we not only get to have our relationship outside of the workplace, but bring that into our home promotion, it's so lovely. A lot of people don't get to work with their significant other, and now we both get to drive in together, leave back to the hotel together, stay together. It's just, it makes it feel even less like work. And for that, it's always an adventure no matter what city we're in. And we get to explore. Oh my gosh, we've explored so many cities together. Of course, gone to so many coffee shops for him together. But yeah, it's really awesome having him by my side.
Sandy Klein from Germany. This is kind of a random question, but I like it anyways. Super fan of yours. Loves your hair and the red color because you've gone through a couple of shades in the last, I think, year or so. What is your favorite color that you've used, and what color do you plan on using next, if you have any in mind?
Okay, so actually, I've done a couple of video calls with Sandy before, and he runs one of the fan pages on Instagram. So shout out to Sandy for the support. Another person I will always treat with kindness because they've only done the same for me. But right now, I'm loving the red. I think it's just such a vibe. I feel like Poison Ivy anytime I wear green. It's just, I don't know, it makes me so happy. Next, though, I was thinking of transitioning to maybe like some kind of lilac purple or maybe pink even. But that's going to be a long time from now. I think I'm going to keep the red for a hot minute.
I'm digging it. So you're good with me. So
thank you.
You got into the ring for the first time last year against, of course, your worstie, Selena De La Renta. What was that experience like, actually finally stepping inside and taking bumps and going through that whole ordeal?
It sucked. Wrestling's hard.
Oh my God. I would think so.
Wrestling is so difficult. And I always said from day one in previous interviews, and anytime I'm asked by fellow wrestlers, anybody, I'm like, I won't wrestle. And then it got to the point where before we really became frenemies and now worsties, we weren't besties. We just hated each other. So we were like, how do we settle this feud? Everyone wanted us to wrestle in the ring. So I thought, you know what? Let's do it. If we're going to do this properly, I want to be taught moves. I want to train a little, but I trained like twice going into it, but whatever. And I wanted gear, and I had gear done for it too. So, you know, it's one of those things where I put my all into it. It was a lot of fun, but man, I hurt afterwards. And I just, kudos to everyone who does it, because I can't stand the act of it. It's difficult.
Man, these wrestlers, they say they go through it 300 days a year. It's nothing but pain, and it never stops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With that said, what is your favorite wrestling match of all time? Do you have a particular favorite in-ring performance that sticks out to your mind, or which one?
Yeah, it's the match that just got me hooked to wrestling. I know it's more of a classic and popular one, but Hell in a Cell. I just cannot forget when I was like 3 or 4 years old watching it with my family and seeing all of the crazy moments, from Mick flying off of the top to the tooth that was shoved up in the nose, the ear. It was so gruesome. And I grew up watching all of those kind of like Tarantino creepy or crazy films. So I was like, this is awesome. What am I watching?
Right.
So ever since seeing that and being captivated, the nostalgia in that one, it gets me. So I'd have to go with that.
Oh, that's such a classic match, man. An easy classic from the Attitude Era. Continuing with questions with Selena, you started a YouTube channel called Worsties. You two play video games as well as doing Spanish lessons. Those are very fun. Lots of unscripted fun.
Very.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting are all the challenges you two do when one of you lose. What's one particular loser challenge that stands out to you the most?
There have been so many. I had to run through Walmart with underwear over my pants. She had to play harmonica in front of a CVS until she got tipped, and someone actually tipped money, and it was a fabulous moment. She did the peanut butter jelly dance in a banana costume while I can't remember if we were at the mall or Walmart, but we've done so many crazy things. We've ate dog cookies together. We've gone in baby strollers around the neighborhood, and that was, mine broke almost instantly, so that was fun. Like not a real baby stroller, like one of the like children ones that a literal baby would be going around in. So that was ridiculous. We do so many things. For the grand finale of our season 1, Video Games Not for Dummies, someone's gonna have to streak at the beach, so that's gonna be ridiculous. So we're stepping it up. It's gonna be insane. So
can't wait for that one. Wow.
A lot of challenges.
This next question comes from George. I think he's from California. Yes, George from California. What inspired you guys to create the Worsties YouTube channel?
Exactly. we started to realize that every time we were together, there were so many stupid things that would happen. And we thought, why don't we start to captivate or to capture this and hopefully captivate the audience.
Right.
So we really started to just pull our phones out. First it started with that kind of stuff. Then we went into better quality things and now we're where we are now. But yeah, it was really bizarre. Just ridiculous things would happen or someone would say something super funny and we're like, hey, if it's funny for us, maybe others will love it. And luckily others have been.
Well, sticking with the gaming topic, Robert Brown wants to know, are you an avid gamer? If so, what's your favorite video game to play?
Yeah, so growing up especially I was super into a lot of Nintendo games, then Call of Duty, but like we would play super crazy rounds of Mario Kart, WarioWare, Mario Party, like all the classics. So I loved those growing up, but now I'm super into Galaga. I will play Super Monkey Ball for hours upon hours. It's just so addictive. Mortal Kombat is slowly, I think that's like probably my second favorite game of all time now. We played it on Video Games Not for Dummies as the Worsties, and I annihilated her and thought it was chance, and then I just kept playing, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm really good at Mortal Kombat, and I love it. So I've been playing a lot of that lately. So yeah, I'd say those are some of my favorites.
I wanted to talk about your OnlyFans account with Selena.
Yeah.
You two do exclusive videos, photo shoots, wrestling content, and I think it's doing pretty well so far. But of course, when you hear the term OnlyFans, people always reference to rated R content. You know what I mean?
Right.
So what is it like having an OnlyFans account? And do you feel, especially women, get a little too much negative stigma for using it? You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. It's one of those things where now we have vacuum stores and people who shred on guitar with, you know, fully clothed men, like everything is on OnlyFans. It's almost like a Patreon with way better built-in services. And that's why we actually decided to go with it. You can do tips on there. You can do direct linking. You can do live streams. You can't do premieres on Patreon. So there were a lot of really awesome differences in terms of the two. And we liked the way it was controversial. We're two very controversial people. Not everyone agrees with our opinions, but we really loved that. And by no means have we ever been deceitful either. We knew that OnlyFans would draw people in, but one of the first lines on our page literally says no nudity ever. And never have we pitched it that way. It's just two badass chicks who are doing crazy cosplay and like super hot beach photo shoots and having fun wrestling, learning languages, and you know, being crazy all over America. So and beyond soon, so stay tuned. But it's just one of those things where people can think what they want, they can call you what they want, but if they literally looked at anything that's on the site, the stupid things that get released, the stuff that we post, it's nothing that I wouldn't want my grandpa to see. Like it's literally like I don't see the difference between some of the gear females wear. It's just the most is bikinis. So we have fun on it. It's been amazing. And we don't give a shit what anyone has to say.
No. I mean, Toni Storm isn't giving a shit, and she has an OnlyFans account, and she's living her best life. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think it's a lot of people don't like see people confident. And I am to the point where finally I am confident in my life and self. And it's nice to be able to share that not only with one of my best friends in Natalia class or Selena, but also like the fans and people who've been behind me for so long. So anyone who has any disrespect or shit to say, I just don't care. Like we're having the best time.
So here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna tell you a topic and then you just give me your short thoughts on that topic, okay?
Okay, let's go.
It's gonna range from non-wrestling to wrestling. So we're just gonna start with something easy. How did you feel about Stranger Things season 4? If you've seen it?
I didn't even watch it. I gave up on Stranger Things come season 2. I was like, this is way too slow for me. I can't keep. I just couldn't get into it. I need things that move quicker, and I was like, not gonna do it. And everyone's like, oh, but like halfway through season 4 it gets good. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch 4 damn episodes or whatever it might be to get halfway to get to something somewhat good. I just can't.
Have you seen The Boys on Amazon Prime?
Oh, that show's so good, and I can't wait to watch this new season. It's so gruesome and bloody and raw, and I love it. So I'm coming up for the new season very soon.
Are you a Marvel fan?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up reading comics, going to Comic-Con with my family. So definitely a big Marvel fan here. Just fan of comics in general.
Oh, nice. I'm assuming you've seen Thor: Love and Thunder, the recent one that just came out.
Funny enough, I've been traveling so much, I haven't been able to get to a theater yet. And with the way the world is right now, I haven't been to a theater in like 2 years. So I'm definitely going to probably wait to see that one once it's out. But yeah, anytime that I can catch up on them, I absolutely do. Like I still haven't watched the bloody new Batman yet because I've just like
Oh wow.
haven't. I know I just haven't had like time to work it in, but I will. I will.
Yeah, so I'm also assuming you didn't see Doctor Strange then.
That I
Multiverse of
did.
Madness. Oh, how do you feel about that one?
I liked it. I like
Yeah.
with all these different storylines. I like how the little twists that they're implementing throughout. And then, of course, there's just like a crazy crossover multiple times throughout all of these films. And that's exciting to see as well without giving stuff away.
All right, here's some wrestling questions people want to know. How did you feel about the return of CM Punk? This happened back in August. Were you able to watch that, by the way? Crazy.
Right. Yeah. So I think in terms of what that did for the wrestling world, that's amazing because it's someone where for the entire stint after he left, he was still being chanted for like years and years afterwards within that brand. So I think the return in itself is super, super cool. For me, I was like, all right, like I for some reason was expecting it. It didn't really, I wasn't like, yeah, but you know,
Right.
I can understand the mass appeal and excitement.
Well, we always thought he would never return. He's been telling the
Yeah.
world that he was never coming back. So we were always like,
That's what they all say.
well, you're in the business. To you, it's just like, all right, sure. With the right amount of money and the
Yeah.
right timing, they'll all come back, right?
Right. I mean, we've seen it over and over, but you know, I still understand the excitement.
Mm-hmm. How you feel about Liv Morgan becoming the SmackDown Women's Champion?
I actually have a new show with Knotfest right now called Wrestle Knot, where myself and two co-hosts discuss wrestling. And so we went over the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And for me, it's almost like the CM Punk thing, where I've never been a crazy fan of the character, never really related to any of the in-ring or promo work, but at the same time, for her as a person, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, like, good for you. That's massive for your career. Like,
Yeah.
way to go. So that was kind of where I was on that. But clearly people were psyched, and seeing people just blow up online, I was like, that's a cool moment.
I think it's because she's eaten a lot of shit over her career. And what I mean by shit, I mean like losses and just bad timing with Ruby Riott leaving and stuff. So for fans, it's like she finally gets a break and finally gets a moment. Maybe that's part of the reason why they loved it. You know?
Sure.
How do you feel about the stuff with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp? Do you follow that, by the way?
As Nat and I call her, Amber Turd.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely insane. I don't even know where to get into it, where to start, because every day I'd open my feed and see another little clip or another horribly worded way to defend yourself, and it was all just a laugh. So yeah, I don't know. It was a lot to focus on. I'm glad that it's done, and I don't have to see any more of it.
How about this? Like, do you feel like she hurt overall the Me Too movement? Do you think this is going to put a damper on it? Because people are now going to be questioning, like, oh, she might be another Amber Heard. You know what I mean?
I think unfortunately from the start with that movement, everyone questions everybody. So I don't know if it'll have a negative damper on it. Potentially for certain individuals, I can completely see it. But I think overall that movement's just swaying, especially with like other allegations that are out right now and whatnot. So I really do think I don't think that's going anywhere. It'll be much of a detriment.
Let's talk about you as the interview queen. You know what I mean? Like, that's your bread and butter, because you still do interviews. But with that said, we live in a world now that's different. You know, we've gone through a pandemic. A lot of people are now adapting to online space. What is that like for you, who's used to working with people like in person? I'm pretty sure you had to adapt during the pandemic. So talk about what it's like to actually do more interviews through Zoom and away from people. Is that something that you're used to? Yeah.
There are definite pros and cons. In terms of cons, it's harder to read body language. I mean, you're seeing like this much of me. You can't lean into people. You can't laugh. You can laugh, but you can't do the same interactions is what I mean. Of course, you have to deal with the technology side of things, which always sucks. Technology can screw you over within a second. So that's always really frustrating. But at the same time, because it's remote, you don't have to leave. You don't have to commute anywhere. You can literally wake up, do your makeup, sit down with your PJs and do a kick-ass interview, you know, all within the span of half an hour. It's awesome. So I do enjoy that side of it. And the fact that I can interview so many people from around the world and they don't have to be in Toronto. I mean, what an incredible benefit. So silver linings, I really missed human connection. And I did my first, other than doing things at MLW and like a couple indie shows, I did my first actual sit down, proper long form interviews. I did like 45 of them within 2 days for Knotfest when we went to the UK together. And it was just people are like, "That's insane." I'm like, "I know it is, but I was just living." I was like, "Oh my god,
You
hi,
don't
good to
feel it.
talk
To
to
you, is you're
you."
having fun.
Oh,
So it's
I
not
was
work,
I
you
felt
know?
alive. It was amazing. So yeah, it sucks, but then again, it has its pros. So
Do you ever just miss those days where you were just the interview queen? Because you're doing so much now. I mean, I just named you all the stuff that you're known for: manager,
right.
influencer, all that kind of stuff. Is there ever a side of you that's like, huh, I wish I was just that girl back in the day, you know?
Yeah, I look back at that or her if I want to talk in some weird, different perspective. But
Yeah,
when I look back, it's like, yeah, she knew what she was doing. She was doing it well. But I like the fact now that it's not just the focus on someone else. I don't mean that in an egotistical way. It's just I
right.
knew I had so much more to bring to the table, and being known as just the interviewer wasn't something I necessarily wanted to be the whole time. So now people know me for so many different things, for the comedy, the modeling, the managing, like ring announcing, hosting, whatever. Like it's a lot of different things going on, but I'm enjoying every single one. Honestly, like I love it. The only thing I don't like, I miss sleep. I miss sleep a lot, and she got a lot more sleep than I do now. But otherwise,
Yeah.
um, loved what I was doing back then, but it just feels a lot better now.
We're winding down with the questions here. This one comes from Elias, who wants to ask you about the discourse between WWE and AEW fans. We've reached a
Right,
point now where there's so much wrestling that you don't really need to watch one product. You know what I mean?
for
But
sure.
even though when you look on Twitter, it almost feels like they want you to only like one thing. What do you have to say about that? I'm pretty sure you've had this question asked 1,000 times by now.
Yeah, but now it's just like, fuck it. I don't care who likes what. I watch what I want to watch, and
Yeah.
if they're watching what they want to watch, cool. But I'm not gonna go online just to be blunt and be like, oh, I like this one more than the other. I thought this was a piece of shit. Blah blah blah. Like there's just no room for negativity anymore. So I think people are like, you have to choose a side. Like, no, I don't. I can have Coke and Pepsi. I can do what I want.
Right.
It's not like you need to have one or the other. And I think that's just kind of a small-minded thought process on the
Yeah.
whole thing. But at the same time, and by no means am I saying don't like one over the other. I personally have
Yeah.
a preference, but I just don't see the need to be like, oh, if you're on that team, like screw you. It's just it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we're all wrestling fans regardless. Doesn't matter what you watch, whether it's Stardom,
Exactly.
AEW, WWE, MLW, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I agree with you 1000% on that one. And we got to wrap it up with this final question. This comes from people who follow you all the time who one day aspire to be like you, an influencer, someone living her best life. What is the best piece of advice you can give to all these fans who love and support you, who aspire to follow in your footsteps?
This will literally be what I share every single time. It's just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid to look like an idiot. Don't be afraid of doors being slammed on your face, because my dad once told me, you can have 100 doors closed. All it takes is for one to open. And luckily, that usually does come your way. So just don't be afraid. I've done so many silly, goofy, ridiculous things, and it's always worked out. It's always worked out. Everything happens for a reason. It's so damn cheesy, but like if you let those setbacks get to you, you're just wasting time. You're just wasting time. So yeah, don't be afraid, kick ass, and everything will work out.
Yeah, Alicia Atout, everybody.
Don't be an asshole. Don't
For
be an
real.
asshole.
Treat
Because if
people
you're an
how you
asshole,
want to
then
be
they're gonna
treated.
have to deal with me being an asshole right back at
Oh my
you.
God. You know what? I am so happy you did this interview with me. I had such a blast interviewing you. I love your energy. I just like you, your presence.
Thank you. Thank you
It's
very
really
much.
fun. Why don't you tell the fans where they can find you, Alicia?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you would like to listen to more of my rambles, all you have to do is hit up aliciaatout.com. There you will not only find my YouTube channel, which literally is home to thousands of interviews with musicians, wrestlers, and celebrities, but just my merch store, my extra projects, the Worsties. Every single day we are airing new content, from hot photo shoots, wrestling, goofy things. Just follow us. We're a lot of fun. I also work for NotFest, where I host interviews with some of the world's biggest and best metal bands and talk wrestling over there. So check out NotFest.com. And last but not least, MLW airs every single Thursday on YouTube. So watch me there.
And there you have it. Thank you for watching this interview with me and Alicia Atout. Show some love to her down below in the comments. Follow her on all social medias. Let me know who you want me to interview in the future, because you just never know who you might see right here in Alyx's world. A place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. Peace.